What's up, guys? Hope you guys had a great day. This is the nightly watch list. Well, risk is on as of now. What happens later in the week? What happened today? We're going to get right into it. Welcome to the Ivy League watch list. I've been trading for about 10 years now. We're going to go over a couple charts. I want to give you guys a little bit of a game plan going into the week. What happened today? A lot of important stuff happened today, right? It was really an action-packed day, right? We had a trade that we got into yesterday. That trade went to over 200% today. We'll get into that. Why did we get into it? So there's a lesson for that. We'll get into the news. We'll get into the JOLTS jobs data. All right, we'll start with the data. We got the news today with less job openings, right? Less job. Where am I at here? Here we go. I told members that were in chat today, guys, this is a great sign. What did we have last week? Friday, you had Philly Fed Harkin come on and say himself, and you've had all the other members say they want to see this labor market soften, right? Spending has slowed down. It's going to slow down even more once you get into October with the college tuition kicking back up. Debts will start being paid. Not as much extra free cash flow to spend and either waste or save or not waste, however the individual wants to deal with it. But this was a sign in the right direction, and I think, after a lull day that we had Monday, that was expected. If you don't know, we trade live right here, Ivy League Trading, YouTube.com. Come join us. We take questions. We go over whether it's earnings. Hewlett Packard had earnings earlier today. You have CRM giving out earnings tomorrow. That's one I've been waiting for. I said it Sunday. So we trade live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you haven't already done so. We got a lot of valuable information that you're not going to find anywhere else. We do not charge you guys a dime. All we ask is that you hit the like and subscribe down below. Share this with a friend. All right? You're going to find a lot of people try to sell you a lot of things, tell you you need these things. You don't need crap. You don't need none of it. All right? The only time you will need it is if you start being profitable enough to where you have that extra income that you can offset and buy those things. They're more of a luxury than they are a necessity. I I can't say I don't have it because I do, but I don't need it. I don't use it. It's a luxury. If something happens in the markets that's going to be that big of a movement, you don't have to be the first to the party. All right? I'm going to come out and say it right now. Stop getting bamboozled. Please join us right here live Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. We come up with our game plan. We get our levels. We discuss, all right, what's the direction with, like, we take the news and we say, where do we think the market's going to go? Up, down, sideways? Is the news bullish, bearish? Is it relevant? No trade, what? Again, we all got into longs on Monday, right? In the area. I'm going to go over that. Why did I do it? Why did I decide to do it? Why did other members decide to do it? Probably for the same reasons. So, thank you. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. So, JOLTS jobs data came out, and I immediately said, guys, this is a sign in the right direction. The market is going to rally, right? I said it in chat. I have the live stream still posted on YouTube. You can go back and check it out. Okay, you can check it out for yourself. Again, S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index also come in lower than expected, right? This is year over year, month over month. Forecasted, it was consensus 0.6, forecasted 1.3, but really the JOLTS jobs data, okay? JOLTS jobs data, quits, okay? Job openings, what, 8.827 million, 8.8 million versus a previous 9.1. That's huge. That's huge, guys. I don't know. What is that? 15%? Am I way off on that? I might be. I don't know. Right? That's a decent drawback. That's what the Fed wants. Keep that in mind. So, what did I say Sunday night? I told you guys I randomly seen a video where an individual said online, we don't have much data this week. All right? Please do yourself a big favor and start recognizing who you should get your information from and who you shouldn't. I'm going to tell you right now, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been a trader for quite a while. If there's something I don't know, I'm not going to act like I know it. right? I may say some dumb things from time to time because I'm just trying to get the information out, right? And I'm new to this. But I will not go out of my way knowing that I know the Fed is worried about inflation and the jobs market. And what do we have all week? And it's not just the United States, it's around the world, inflation and jobs data this week. So, yes, this is a huge week for data, right? You're going to get interest rates around the, or not interest rates, you're going to get inflation data around the world. You're going to get jobs data around the world. You're going to get PCE. That is the Fed's tool that they use to measure inflation, right? We're going to get that on Thursday. So you have ADP employment tomorrow. Let's get into that real quick. So what are we going to look for tomorrow? We could have a slight, easy type of day. I would like to see how positioning, I want to see how positioning takes itself. I want to see the positioning that goes into Friday is what I'm trying to say. Okay. It's going to be important because whether this ADP employment it moves the market or it doesn't, right? I want to see what is the positioning going into PCE, right? Going into PCE, this is what I want to see. We have personal income, personal spending, core PCE. Again, this is what the Fed uses. You have initial jobless claims, but what did we say? If you did not see the video on Sunday or Saturday when I released it, I told you guys the other measurements that are used for inflation is non-farm payrolls, retail sales, manufacturing. You're getting non-farm payrolls and ISM manufacturing. All right. Big data this week. Listen, if you didn't make any money today or you lost it, learn from it. I beg you. It's the only way. You got to put the work in, guys. You got to put the work in. It may get boring. You may think you know it all. But if you do not go back and say, why did I make this decision here? What did I see then compared to what I see now and what happened? Why did I make that decision? Whether it's the right decision or wrong decision. All right. I went off on a little spiel last night about doing those kinds of things so you will get more comfortable when you see things that you're doing right and you start and you see them again and you see it again, right? You're going to be more comfortable, right? So that's that. You have a now a category 2 hurricane that is entering Florida right now. It just became a category 2 about an hour or two ago from when I started recording this. All right, I want to get into the nitty gritty here. Bitcoin, I'm just covering the news real quick. Bitcoin, court says you allowed for an ETF from, you approved a future, let me see here. So I'm going to make this a long story short, guys. Bitcoin ETF is getting closer to possibly being approved. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust to an ETF is what they're trying to do. Trying to take it from a Bitcoin trust to an ETF. And the court said you approved a future-based Bitcoin product. If you approved one, you have to approve the other. Plain and simple. All right, so they are one step closer. All right, let's get into the retail banks. Also got to discuss retail banks. All right, there was some not legislation, but regional banks with 100 billion in assets would be subject to new requirements. Impacted lenders will have to maintain long-term debt levels equal to 3.5% of average total assets or 6% of total risk-weighted assets, whichever is higher, right? So you have regional banks, getting worked on. You're getting Bitcoin worked on. You're getting the markets. You're getting the jobs data. Like there's a lot. There's a lot, guys. So don't be discouraged if you don't get discouraged if you were not able to, get in on the action today. But you got to be ready. You got to be experienced. This is why you need to come join us, right? Because I already said before this data came out. And once it came out, I analyzed it quickly, right? I've been doing this a long time. I knew this was going to drive the markets to the upside. The probability of it going to the upside was greater than it not going to the upside, right? We've been looking for this 50-day, get up to that 50-day. That was our reason right there, and we just broke through it. What do I always tell you guys? I say, you you usually will not get through a major level or moving average unless you have data the first time. Usually it will take you a couple tries, 2, 3 times before it gets out and breaks out through that level if there's no data technical reason to break through it. Okay? So here's the cues. I'm going to start with the cues. The tech sector is what's strong right now, especially ARK. I'm going to get into all of them, and then I'm going to get into the trades. I'm going to get, matter of fact, let me get into my trade. Let's go into the trade right now from yesterday that we got out of today. This would have netted you over 200%, depending on where, this was your range. I was, I was pretty thrilled at how this worked out. So there's a couple different ways I went about this trade. All right, I took a Microsoft long yesterday. Let's go to Microsoft. So Microsoft yesterday was holding the 100-day moving average. All right, it got my attention because what did we have? We had a low volume day yesterday and a hold. It was a low, to me this was a low volume pullback, just still hanging out on the 100-day. You have held the 100-day yesterday with more volume, right? Yes, Thursday, not yesterday, but Friday and Thursday, you had this engulfing pattern. Yes, I see that. Everyone sees it. Everyone sees a head and shoulders. Well, they think they see a head and shoulders. All right. Low volume day yesterday. I entered this trade yesterday afternoon. I'm going to go to a 3-minute chart. So why did I enter this trade? Well, I'm going to get into why, but let me show you where. We entered this trade right down here yesterday. Now, this blue box was over here because this blue box here is the 100-day moving average. I am entering this trade because we have officially pulled back to it again, and I had the opportunity to get in this position at this moving average pretty much. Right? It was just above it because it bounced off of it when I got to it and made a decision. It had these 2-3 candles right here. So it was right in here. It was around, what is that, 3 o'clock, right? 3 o'clock. It's like 2:45, you know what I mean? It was like 2:45, 2:50, just before 3 o'clock. And a couple other individuals, or one other individual, was actually thinking about the same thing. So that's why I entered there. I'm going to get into why I entered it, where was my risk, all that fun stuff. Why did I get in it? All right, let's go to the Dow. So for me to tell you why I got into Microsoft, I got to go to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So the Dow has visited its 100-day moving average. It had a nice pop, and a day like that we had Thursday did not break it. We had an increase in volume. Okay, this blue line here, this blue line right here is your 100-day moving average, guys. Huge. We had some decent volume to get to it. We did not break it. You broke it a little. You're just sitting right on it. Pretty much to me, we're sitting on it. Friday, we break above it on what? An increase in volume. Yes, we had Powell. Doesn't matter why. I don't care that we had Powell because Powell didn't give us anything, right? Yes, we had Powell, so there was liquidity, but Powell didn't do anything. He didn't say anything new. We had a decent amount of volume, and guess what? That 100-day held. Coming into Monday, we come into a gap up. This tells me we just got to bounce off of that 100-day. What am I going to look for? I got this increase in volume to help back me up. We got up to the 50-day. Now I'm looking to see if we can hold this as support. This previous double top to the left right here and here. I could circle it for you so you guys see what I'm talking about if you're new. Here's 1 top, 2 top, 3 top, 4. So there's 1 top. Oh no. Sorry guys. Let's do this. I don't know. I should just leave them uncolored, but that gray is bothering me. There we go. 1 top, 2 top. I want to see now that we're holding it. This was the level that I got into it yesterday. We were here. All right? So we've bounced off the 100-day moving average. Today's Tuesday, right? Why do I feel mixed up? Yeah, Tuesday. That's what I thought. 100-day moving average. We got to bounce off the 100-day moving average. Our double top is right here to the left. We're holding that. right? We're holding that. Let's go to a 3-minute chart. Oh, this is the Dow. That's why it looks different. I got confused with Microsoft and the Dow. So we got to bounce off the 100-day. So let me go back to Microsoft. Why am I using the Dow for Microsoft? If you don't know, Microsoft is it's like the top 3 or 5 weightings in the Dow. Okay, I can bring it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. As com- as this says, it is the fourth weighted. Microsoft is the fourth weighted stock in the Dow Jones. So therefore, I'm going after Microsoft. All right. If I see the Dow bouncing off the 100, I'm seeing Microsoft also at its 100-day holding. The Dow bounces. Well, chances are Microsoft bounces. There's more than that. Microsoft also still has some good news that is up ahead. Okay, that Activision and the other company, they're bringing in another company to be able to make this Activision partnership work. All right. So with that news, with the fact that the Dow has bounced off of its 100-day moving average, tech stocks have been getting a gain, have been catching a bid. Apple has been catching a bid. So therefore, I had the opportunity yesterday to take this right on the 100-day, right above the 100-day moving average. Why do I take it there? Because I have a low volume day that day. That's a low volume pullback back into it. As you can see here, this is a low volume. Right here, low volume. Right now, again, it didn't have much. It didn't take it back like it did the Dow, but we held it. So with that news with the Dow, I said I took this position on. Where's my target? We've pretty much got to my target today, right? I wanted to see us get back up into this resistance area of 327.65, but maybe later in the week, depending on the data, see if this thing gets up to its 50-day or consolidates here and it draws that 50-day moving average down to it. But just getting to the top end of that channel, playing the channel, was the goal, and that goal was hit. That target was hit today. I'm no longer in that trade. All right, those calls could have netted you anywhere from 0 to over 200%, over 200%. All right, where you took profits is where you would have taken profits. Where you would have ran out of shares is where you would have ran out of shares, not shares, but contracts, or if you traded the stock itself. That is what I wanted to really hit on with this Microsoft, is knowing that every time it got near this 100-day moving average, when you got to it, right, it had some low volume down here. Yes, we had some decent volume on Fed Day, but the Dow's going to bounce off the 100-day. You know, this data was good. I mean, didn't know the data was going to be good, but guess what? The point of this trade is my risk to reward. I am putting myself in a position where I am losing less when I'm wrong than I make when I'm right. So I'm able to stay in the game, and I'm able to be consistently profitable. If I enter here, right? If I'm entering here, right, and the 100-day moving average was right here, right? We're bouncing off of it. I have an opportunity to buy it. Where am I going to give it? I'm going to give it to the break. I'll probably give this thing once it gets down here. So I'm going to give this thing 321.93, we'll say, to 321.30. That's 60 cents. Right? 60 cents. I gave it 60 cents, and this thing gave me, 322. It actually came down here, but still, like 322 to 328, we'll say. It's higher than that, but still 328. So I am risking. We're just gonna say not 60 cents. We're gonna say I'm gonna risk $1.50 to make $6-7. That's 6-to-1 risk to reward, guys. My target was the top of the channel. We got there by the morning. That was it. So this is how you got to start thinking about trading. Or if you would like to learn how to do this, my email is in the description. Follow me on Twitter. I always post trade ideas, things that I'm looking at. Stop getting bamboozled by these people that lie to you and say you need these tools, you need this, you need that, and that you can't find decent information out here. You're right. It's very hard to find decent information out here. Just like I noticed an individual saying that we didn't have hardly any data this week that mattered. That's what I did. I had to do a face palm when I said that. I'm like, oh my goodness. So, people aren't perfect, but if you're going to put yourself out there, you might want to do yourself a favor and really do the work that's needed, or, leave the data alone for the true professionals. Because I'm not even a true. I know how to trade, right? I know how to manage my risk, put myself in the best position possible, and I know how to somewhat read the data, right? I don't need to get technical with, oh, we're here at 2008 levels and institutional is at an all-time buying while retail is selling. I don't give a shit. I can look at this. I can look at the volume and tell who's buying and who's selling, right? I can get the news, and I know what the Fed wants to do, right? I know the Fed wants to bring inflation down by bringing the labor market, cooling the labor market off, cooling the labor market off, and taking the labor market to stop this demand that we have. You're at an all-time low. There's a ton of demand, and if the labor market stays this low, they're going to continue to have cash and continue to just provide a demand that we're trying to get rid of. We're just trying to cool things off is what they're trying to do. So we start getting the data that puts us in that direction, then the Fed can start thinking about, not only not raising, but possibly cutting and loosening the reins a little bit. But we'll see. So that was our trade of the day. I want to give you guys some trade ideas. So what was strong and what was a little bit weaker? There were a lot of stronger stocks today, but banks weren't that strong today. I want to go into the tech part. I want to show you guys some things like I'm going to go to ARK. I'm going to go to a couple other charts here, but ARK or Meta. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something here. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. We could just go to the daily. We're going to go to the daily chart, make it a lot easier. All right. So if you notice, I still got to give you guys levels on the SPY too. Meta is still at its 50-day, and it's still at Thursday's open. Okay, Meta is still at Thursday's open. Take that for what it is, right? Doesn't mean that it's weak, but it's lagging. It's lagging to the upside. If I take you to Tesla is well above that Wednesday or Thursday price action, right? Come on. Jesus Lordy, why does it do this to me? I hate when they do this stuff. I really do. I barely touch it. And I have it on original, but I can't take this and log it in or square it up. Zoom it in, and get it to where I want it to be. Tesla is also at its 50-day, but it's also well above Thursday's price action, right? Tesla's got its own little pattern going on. I noticed it last week where you were getting divergence from like the S&Ps and other stocks to Tesla, right? Tesla was opening up red while everything else was opening up green. And then it switched the following day. It switched where Tesla was green and then everything else was red. So Tesla's kind of been doing its own thing. All right, let's go to the S&Ps and let's go to the Qs. I'll go to the Qs first. You have a gap up here that's been filled. All right, this is something I want you guys to start to write down these levels. I want to see now if we pull it back. Not a big pullback. I'm actually curious, though, how positioning is tomorrow. I'm really curious to see if we just pull it back and just hang out in this area. If we hang out from 375 to 372, right? We kind of just sit here, right? Maybe you test 376 or 377, right? Or 376.50. Maybe you test it, right? Maybe you test it. But I think this is your level for the Qs, and our next price action should be around 472 flat, right? 472 flat. Look for a pullback there. And I want to see how positioning goes into it. I don't know if we pull it back all the way back down to the 50-day unless that ADP data that comes out tomorrow morning comes in pretty hot then we would look to possibly pull it back down to the 50-day. This JOLTS data is going to vary. It's going to go one way and then it's going to go to the other. If you guys remember a little while back, the unemployment rate was showing good signs, and then it went right back to the opposite, just low jobs numbers, or unemployment rate being, really, really low, right? It started to show signs of easing, and then it just went right on back to not what the Fed wants it to be. All right, so there's the cues, guys. You have this gap fill right here where this purple box is. It's going to be from 372.75 area to 374.75 again. So it's about $1 range, right? There's a gap there. If you break up here and hold this level, you still have a gap up here. All right, we still have a gap that's unfilled from back when we had that Fed day. It's like the area from the Fed day. It might look a little different from the S&Ps, but you'll see it on the SPY right there. All right, we still have a gap up there. All right, let's go to the SPY. So I'm looking to just see if we just hang it out, hang out in this area from 372.40, 372.50 to 375, 50-cent range. Maybe you get a little upside, maybe you get a little downside. We'll see. Let's take notice of how positioning is tomorrow, going into the PCE data. All right, so the S&Ps. All right, S&Ps also above the 50-day moving average. All right, same thing. It's got a gap up here above 450.70, 451, call it. I'm going to call it 451. No, not there. I'm sorry. Right here. The gap for the S&Ps is up here at 453 to 456. And this blue box was Fed day. So right up around that Fed day where we got our rate hikes. So same thing with the S&Ps. I want to see if we just kind of just hang it out here in the low 448s, pull it back, and then we make a climb up to like 450, kind of hang out up there, right? For now. So we had data. We've broken through a major moving average. It was resistance. We got back up, had data that supported it. There was the break of the 50-day. What was really strong today? ARK. ARKK. Sorry, my mouth is dry. I'm trying to hurry up. So, sorry about that. There is somewhat of a reverse head and shoulders here, but look at the day ARK had today, guys. 5.5% today. What are we going to want to do then? Look at this, guys. Huge day today. And I seen it and took notice of it early on in the day. All right. I took notice of it early on in the day. IWM, same thing. I told members, even when we were here, I told them, I'm like, guys, you're still safe to go long. Nothing has changed. When you see this price action of it just close it, like the candles are equally just stepping up, right? And there's no like up and down, no volatility. It's just closing just a little bit higher. The candles are small and they're just opening and closing together, but going up, right? Just like this right here. This is what I mean. Right here. You see how they're the same exact size all the way going up, and they just get a little bit smaller over here, right here. That is momentum. These are things you need to visually remember and analyze. Hey, when we do this, when we go up and have extreme days, these candles are just about the same size going up the whole way, right? And I literally said in chat, guys, we can sit here and go up all day with no pullbacks. I'm telling you now, if you're not getting long now, don't try to do it at 2:30, 3 o'clock. Not that it's going to pull back, not that you can't make money, but just if you're going to be long, you need to do it now. You got the data that backs you up. You got the setup that backs you up. Everything's pointing to the long side, and if you weren't long, you were wrong. All right, Qs or ARK. So what if we're going to look at ARK and think we could start getting a little bounce here? I'm not saying that we are. This thing's overly just getting demolished here. It's above the 100-day. So what could we look for? We could look for a bounce to the 50-day, which is this red line. Maybe first you get a pullback to the 100-day. Maybe you pull back and hold not even the 100-day. Well, the 100-day will, as you wake up, like you get a stock, like since we had a big day like that, you'll start to see that 100-day start to anchor itself up and start to price in that close. All right. You need to know how these moving averages work so you can predict where they're going to be accordance into what the stock's going to be, and that's going to help you come up with a game plan. Right? It's what I do. I'm not always right, but I will always tell you what I think, and I don't care if I'm wrong because I've been doing this so long. I know what the hell it is that I'm doing, and I'm telling you I'm going to be wrong because you're not always going to be right. Okay? I don't know if there's going to be some random news that comes across the wire tonight. Something stupid happens in another country or something ridiculous. Maybe a bank says, yeah, we're not doing too well. Right? Doubt that happens, but something could happen to change and reverse the direction. What are stocks that are in ARK, right? Let's look at the top holdings. Obviously, everyone knows Tesla, right? If it's going to be strong, you want to look at Tesla. All right? You want to look at Oh, come on. Roku? Look at the day that Roku had today. All right? Roku had a huge day today. There was just a lot today. Zoom, right? Another one. This thing's actually gotten just beaten. All right? Coinbase, look at that. And I want you to notice something on Coinbase. Let me bring it up for you guys. Because Coinbase actually put in a really distinct pattern to the downside. It's rare that you see this. Do you remember how I was talking about the patterns to the upside just now intraday on like the S&Ps? Don't you kind of notice the same thing on the downside for Coinbase? Yes, it's got a few candles, but they're all the candles are about the same size, and it's just angled. And it's just angled there, and it's just putting in the same size candles and just closing down. Boop, 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 boop. I don't know how else. You can see it and just see that, yeah, there's something to it there. Put in a double bottom. We were looking for this level, right? That's why that green box is there. Right? That's why that green box is there, because that's where we were looking for the pullback to get long. There's a gap fill there. There's a gap right here. You guys can't see it. Or right here. Sorry. Right there. There was a gap fill there. It was obviously waiting to get into that news there. So I don't trade Bitcoin or Coinbase too much. So there was news there. What else, guys? There was something else I covered that. I wanted to give you guys again the trade ideas, right? Well, this is the trade ideas, right? If we're going to continue to go to the upside and ARK and those type of innovation names and those type of stocks are going to start rallying, and they are on their lows, because we see a little bit of even though that sector is a lot more riskier. Today was a risk on day. Could you start seeing rotation into those type of names, and you get, because let me put it to you this way. Nvidia, Apple, Google. Oh, Google had a good day today too. There was news with Google and Apple. See, there was just more. Google and Nvidia are teaming up for their. They're going to sell Nvidia's products for something with their web service. All right, I don't have it written down right now, but there was news regarding Nvidia and Google teaming up together. All right, it's made a new high of the year, I should say. It made a new high of the year. And other names aren't. Other names are still back down here, right, at their 50-day. So take that into notice. See what sector is strong. So in the morning, I look at the Dow, SPY, Qs, and we'll look at IWM and ARK, and I want to see what the leaders are. That tells me what stocks I want to be in that day if there's no news. Again, we have CRM after the close tomorrow, CRM's earnings. I will be looking to play CRM along. Well, we also have that data, inflation data also coming out. So, in accordance to what's going on in the market is in accordance to where I'm going to be in the market, right? Whichever is the leader, whatever is the laggard. So real quick, Meta, right? Like I said, Meta is still at its 50-day. Meta is still at its 50-day. All right, it's putting in a double top. It did not take back that Thursday. All right, other stocks did. So take notice that there's a bit of weakness there. Not that it's weak, but it's not putting in as much upside. It's got a different pattern than others. Amazon. I didn't even look at Amazon today. I really didn't. All right. Amazon. Still just hanging out. It's still far below Thursday's price action. All right. That's something to be said there. It's still holding the 100-day, though, so you can't rule out an upside climb. It's just not doing much. All right. It's not doing much. AMD. All right. I'm going to be looking at, especially, and if the Dow is continuing to be strong, I don't want to just think about like Boeing and stuff, but I want to be in different type of names and sectors. So AMD is under its 100-day moving average. It's closing in on the 100. Does it become resistance? Right? Does it become resistance? Not if the inflation data comes out the way we think it will. Apple. It also bounced off of its 100-day. All right. Somewhat a head and shoulders. Somewhat a head and shoulders. It's ugly, but you know that the upside pattern could be there. Could be there. All right, and I showed you guys Microsoft already. We were already in that trade, right? You know, and there's still more. It's still going, and it's funny because I heard people saying how weak it was. Stay away from it. Well, when you get education on how to look at stocks in the markets, right? You should already know that if the market's gonna climb and test new highs with decent data, it's gonna be the same names that have gotten us here. Nvidia, right? All your big cap tech, it's got us there. It's the safe money. They're cash flowing. Yes, I don't care about PEs right now. Now is not the time to care about PEs or PEs. We have earnings beats. Earnings have been decent. They've been good. Okay. Inflation coming down. Right? Here's the labor market now. What did I say in chat? I said throw that quarter into the soft landing bucket. Right? If you haven't done so already, take that quarter and throw it in the soft landing bucket because that was a win for the Bulls today. All right, that was a win for the Bulls today. I know I'm forgetting something. So last week, if you don't know, I put out a weekly video, guys. So again, my email is in the description. Email me if you'd like to work with me. If you would like one-on-one help, whether with trading in general, if you would like to learn how to day trade and like let's maybe figure out how are you losing more than you make when you're right or when you're wrong. Why are you losing more when you're wrong than what you make when you're right? All right, things like that. All right, I don't want you guys getting bamboozled by other groups and other people lying to you, paying people to type in the chat, "Oh, you saved my life. You did this, you did that." It's a bunch of garbage. I'm going to tell you right now. You don't need those tools. You don't need to get into a place and pay an extraordinary amount of money to not be able to take home the education and own it for yourself so you have it to keep. That's one. But you're also going to be disgusted with yourself when you find out you're going to sit through sales pitches, paying money, and you're in groups, and you're still going to sit through sales pitches. You're still going to get upsold, and it still may not work. All right? That's not our goal here. I don't need reoccurring revenue. I would like to work with you and help you become a better trader. So you can identify the trade that I identified Friday, waited till Monday, put it on Monday afternoon. Best risk to reward had over a 200% gain today. I mean, you had all the way like over a 200%. I don't, you take profits wherever you want. Again, I do this because this is what I want to help show you guys that this is what I do, and maybe you can take that and find your own identity as a trader. You have to find your identity, right? I have a few identities myself. I can play small caps, I can play mid caps, I can trade options, I can play large caps. I like to trade options because I know a lot of people out here like to trade options, and they need to see and know and understand the psychology that goes behind them and why you shouldn't just sit and hold it, because then you don't have any type of idea what theta really means, right? Because like today, we had a little bit of time on these options, but the maximum profit on those options was during the upside. And then after it got to X amount, it was just like there was no more profit, and it actually came down. They were at like 55 cents, I think they're at now. And the stock's out, still up at highs, but I said today in chat also, I said I think we may get a gap up tomorrow. It would not surprise me. Right? No, I don't just take a position on it at the end of the day because I think we're going to gap up and I buy calls. Right? No. You got to make sure you have a gap up enough that's going to take care of that time theta that's along with it, right? You got to have a true understanding, and I feel like I can help teach you that. When I have an understanding, when I'm in an option, and let's just say if it goes against me, I already know, depending on how it is and how it reacts between the low and the high of those option prices and a lot of other things that I use, I know whether it's going to pay me or not. And I'll know quick, right? I'll know quick. We entered those options yesterday at the right price. We damn near ticked the low. The low on those contracts yesterday were 18 cents. I think we entered them around 22 to 24 cents yesterday. And they went all the way up to just under 70 cents. Right? Just under 70 cents today. So, but this was Saturday's video that I put out. Dixie overdone. If you don't know, the DXY is the dollar. All right, I felt like the dollar was overdone. All right, yields. Here is the uptrend that is coming out. But you guys can watch this video for yourself. So it told me that, that I felt like yields and stuff were overdone. I mentioned this, right? And I also mentioned last week about TLT, and I'm still looking at TLT. I'm trying to I want to get my entries correct, right? Because if I enter something, I know that I shouldn't have to worry about it pulling back or breaking that level when I get in. If I buy right, I shouldn't have to worry about stopping out. If I got to worry about stopping out, that means I'm wrong. I've made the wrong decision. All right. So that was the overall markets today to the upside. I want to see, what happens tomorrow with the ADP numbers. I want to see, does this price action just stay up where it's at? And then maybe we just kind of pull it back to the 50-day. Do we just sit up here and let that 50-day start to come up and we meet to get another bounce to go test all-time highs if this PCE, if this inflation data continues to come down? Are we going to test all-time highs and put in a possible double top? I will help you know what my thoughts are on that. It doesn't mean I'm going to be right. It also doesn't mean I'm going to be wrong, right? But we read and we react, okay? You can join us right here. My email is in the description. We do trade right here on YouTube, IvyLeagueTrading, live Monday through Friday, 6:30, 7:30 to 4. You can ask questions. Whatever it is that you need help with, that you're struggling on, post it in the comment section. We're here to help, all right? Members will help. I will help, all right? But if you need one-on-one mentor sessions, email me. If you would like to work with me in your company, my email is also in the chat. You can also follow me at Ivy League Trading, YouTube, or IvyLeagueTradingTwitter.com. And I think that's about it for now, guys. I'm still working on the educational things that I would like to get out for you guys. That's not BS, all right? It is a set in stone, clear roadmap. These are the things you want to look for. This is where you want to learn how to trade, guys, to get the education. You don't need the tools. You don't even need a TV in front of you. It'll probably help you lose money. Just read and react, right? There's a lot of different rules to manage money. There's a lot of different rules for your psychology going into the markets, right? So hit that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Greatly appreciate it. I'm working on getting some of these videos a lot better and stuff like that, but I thank you guys for your time. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Identify what's weak, what's strong. Okay, where are some stocks at versus where others are. If we're going to get decent data, you will still have NVIDIA climbing. I don't care about PEs. The market doesn't care. I'm telling you right now. PCE comes in below expectations. I'm telling you right now. And we continue to get this data. We will be at all-time highs. I promise. Look at Nvidia. Do you think the market cares? No, the market does not care about the PE. First off, it just beat earnings, right? It's doubled its revenue it's doubled its income than it did from the year prior. All right. It doesn't matter. And how oversold is it? Remember, this company has free cash flow, by the way. This is not the 2000s where companies didn't have cash flow, right? This is not the 2000s. This is not Nvidia not making any money and trading at 200 times earnings. No, they actually make money, and they might be at like 40 or 50, right? Maybe 60. I don't know. Maybe 90, but I don't think they're at 90. I think they're probably around 40 or 50, right? That doesn't seem too bad if you compare it to the 2000s, right? Not that that's something you should do. All right. So join us in chat tomorrow right here, Ivy League Trading, youtube.com. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Again, one more time, TLT. I'm still watching it for another entry point. I almost decided to go long TLT than Microsoft, but I had more of a reason to go after Microsoft. All right, my risk to reward was a lot better there. Right? I don't have a leaning 100-day moving average right here that I can lean on to say if this breaks and doesn't hold anymore, the trade's done. I don't have that. I didn't have that with TLT. But what I did do, just so you guys know, and I'm not doing this to say, oh, look what I did. Look what I did. No, I just want you guys to know that the person you're listening to knows how to identify and navigate through the markets. All right? I've said this last week, guys, right? I said it over and over and over. Go look at the dates right here. Is it time to buy the dip? Is it time to buy the dip? 8 days ago. What's today? This was Monday and Tuesday. This was Sunday night into Monday. Sunday, Monday, Monday night. I tried to give you guys a warning, just like the dollar and yields, that I thought we could pull it back. Doesn't mean we're going to, but these are my thoughts. These are what I see, and I have reasons for why I do things. Okay? I've been doing this for 10 years, almost 10 years now. All right? I wouldn't come on here and make myself look like a fool if I didn't know what I was doing, if I wasn't able to make my losers smaller than my winners. Right? So, email's in the description. Comment down below if you have any questions. Hit that like button. You guys get and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I appreciate your time. I hope you guys have a great night. Hope you guys have a great day. Come join us in chat. We'll see you guys tomorrow.